We need it. Oxygen. It's why we breathe.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Small Business Stories. You know me, your host, Loralyn, aka Dr. LL. Getting to know the voice, it's exciting. We just keep moving up the ranks in podcast land, and that's thanks to you, all of our amazing listeners. We love you. We appreciate you, entrepreneurs, small business owners, consultants, and anybody else who just doesn't have one of those titles. Not to mention all of our guests. Every week we talk to you. We bring these guests in, these experts who have, a thing or two to share because all of us as business owners, entrepreneurs, we're not perfect, right? We make some mistakes and we can get help and lean on other folks to make us better and make our businesses more successful. So with that, this week we have Michael Dodsworth. He is the founder of Fanfare. And you think, what's Fanfare? Well, I'm going to let him tell you. Hi, Michael. Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
it's great to be here. Thank you.
We just love bringing folks in from all over the world as the footprint of this show grows. It's kind of fun. And talk to people about first, but we don't always got into the business piece, but fanfare. Why you guys exist? What's going on in the world out there in the land of, I guess, experiences and purchasing experiences?
Yeah, fanfare for me has come from a long, tortuous line of failed launches, experiences, especially in live events. I feel like I'm someone who loves to spend time in the company of a large group of people, seeing if it's a sports event, a festival, a musician. And I keep finding myself in these kind of broken consumer experiences again and again. Like everyone has had some kind of terrible experience, whether it's trying to get tickets to Taylor Swift, Olivia Dean, Oasis, like every single time one of these things goes on sale, there's a bad time that the fans have. So trying to address those gnarly on sale experiences. So live events is a good example of this, where you have this kind of constrained resource. You have some scarce resource that you're trying to sell and an enormous fan base that you're driving through to it. That creates this contention that the vendors have to deal with. And usually that means people just get wedged into these queues that last multiple hours. You have an enormous incentive for people to come in and try and scoop these things up. So you find bots, bad actors, scalpers trying to come in and get these tickets, these items ahead of everyone else. And then you see frustration from the fans. Like they feel like every time they go into an on sale like this, they're paying a tax. Like I just want to see Taylor Swift. I don't want to be sat in a queue for 6 hours and then for my tickets to vanish from underneath me. So seeing that, I come from a live events background. The last company I was at was in the live event space, a company called Rival. And I kept seeing this same broken consumer experience time and time again. Through the start of the pandemic, it was like grocery stores would have enormous lines outside for everything. And then on into retail, just seeing product launches go south, seeing like people's feeling for these brands kind of sour the more times they go through these experiences, and this feeling that we solved for this problem. It doesn't have to be this way. There's a better way that you can run a drop, run a launch. And from there, we've just built up the platform and incorporated all kinds of aspects around the data behind these things. Like these are VIPs in the making sometimes. They just unlucky VIPs. You should know about these people. You should try and reach these people and engage them, even if they may be unlucky. So that's where we are. It's kind of a long-standing itch that needed scratching, and I didn't see anyone else addressing this. So I decided to be a first-time founder and take what I'd learned in previous startups and kind of put my money where my mouth was. So decided to take this on a few years ago.
Excellent. So first of all, I love that you said gnarly. I mean, that's just great, right? A good way to start. This is a gnarly problem, and I've chosen to tackle it, even though there are multiple behemoths with billion-dollar budgets. already doing it. So tell us what that feels like to be the Samson and Delilah, right? Going up against everything and everyone as the little tiny startup guy, the first time founder.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this problem is not really been tackled by those ticket masters, by those Shopifys. Like, there's no real strong incentive for them to kind of tear apart what they have to try and deal with this scenario where 3 million people show up for 50,000 pairs of sneakers, right? We speak to brands all the time where they get thrown into a bad setup and a bad experience because these platforms that you would expect to have a solution to this just really do not. Like Ticketmaster has had the same queuing mechanic for over a decade, it feels like. And nothing on the horizon, no strong incentive for them to resolve that problem given the market share that they have. They're just okay with frustrating fans. So I feel like there's a real issue that needs to be addressed here. There's a real benefit, I feel, to this model of creating anticipation around your launches, but it comes with some hazards, some issues that you need to avoid, and we're here to help brands avoid those problems.
I'm going to do a little edit just here, and because that was my error. Don't answer the question. We're going to proceed to the next one.
Sure.
So, Michael, what does it feel like to be the little guy, first time startup founder with the whole Samson and Goliath, right? You're going up against the biggest of the bigs. Talk to us about that. All right. So that is for, well, I guess entrepreneurship is all about risk takers, right? And so you've talked to us how you're going up against the behemoths, even daring to say, oh, the T word, right? Ticketmaster, that they are
Mhm.
comfortable frustrating their fans. Indeed, they must be. And taking a good, $78 per ticket, right, in their fees for the right to frustrate all of the rest of us. So I like disruption, Michael. I'm all about it.
Me too.
Go
Yeah,
be a disruptor.
I feel like there's a real feeling here. Like, as you could probably tell from the accent, I'm not from around these parts. I'm based
Oh,
in
you're
LA right
not?
now.
You're not from
Uh,
New Jersey?
and not from New
Really?
Jersey. No, absolutely. Old York. So there's a feeling here of like really going, really supporting the underdog, which I love. Because yeah, these are giant companies with giant budgets, but you see time and time again a small focused team who really address a specific problem and really go after a specific problem can really upturn a market and can really solve real problems that these vendors just seemingly don't want to address. So I feel like we're in a good place to start this company.
Excellent. That's what I love to hear. And you're right, because it's the ability as a founder is to influence, right? Not in a manipulative kind of way, but to influence people to, hey, come work for me. I can't pay you squat. The hours suck, but we can solve a really big, important problem, right?
Yeah, I've definitely done my kind of Goldilocks tour of company sizes from very small. In the very beginning, I started my life at a very small content management service called Coral. It was 7 people. We were scooped up by Salesforce in 2007. So find myself like bridging way over to the other side of that chasm, giant company, growing company, was there for a few years and then kind of went to a medium-sized company, Optimizely. And what I felt, especially at Salesforce, is that you're so far removed from the customer and the customer's problem that you don't really feel it viscerally every day. Right? You can focus on your technical issues. Like, I'm an engineer, I have an engineering background. You can focus on a problem that may not be something that customers really care deeply about. Maybe there's some other issue that everyone is screaming around that you're not seeing or hearing. When you're at a very early stage company, people call you and they tell you their their feelings of frustration, and you get to have conversations with people, even on the engineering team. Like, you are very influenced by customer input, and you are so close to the customer that you get to have that very, very incremental feedback from the customers, which is, I think, is a great way of working. It's it's what I enjoy. It's what I've gone back to time and time again. But it does come with some, like you say, long hours. You are frustrating customers if something goes wrong. Like you feel it, you hear it from them. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing that you hear it. When you don't hear it, that's when you can get misaligned and start building things that don't really solve any problems.
Having done both, yes, I get it. And my, phone is going off and watch as we speak because I do have a customer issue, and that's just it. When you are a small business supporting another small business, there's such a dependency and expectation that you get it right. Not every customer affords us, or at least me, that steer us with the space and grace of, hey, I get it. We're a small business too. We make mistakes. Let's figure it out. And it's good to hear and trying to do it, but it's those sleepless nights where you're like, oh my God, I failed. I suck. Oh, I feel so badly, right about it. And then you try to figure out how do you do this? And then you overcompensate and then you ignore the other customer. Anyway, I'm going through, right, all of
Yeah,
this sort of thing.
it's a real challenge, but I feel like going through that multiple times and feeling that feeling like you've let someone down and then just picking yourself back up and addressing it and then getting that, or maybe sometimes the feedback is no feedback, but just seeing people use the platform in a different way, seeing that you've solved their problem and that they're able to continue on with what they're doing. Like, I think that's part of it. And like, the more you do it, the
Oh,
more
yeah.
you realize like those frustrating moments, they're kind of part of it. They're a good part of it. They're a healthy part of it. And it means that you're important to someone, right? Like if you're able to frustrate, it means that you're solving a problem that's important to that customer.
Oh, yeah. And learning and growing. I took that client's issue, worked with I have multiple outside, partners with all of this. That's it. We changed our processes. We looked at what's broken. Where does the quality control need to change? How do we do this? We need a tighter intake. We need this. We need that. And it's just boom. I mean, it was a couple of days of very intense conversations, planning, spreadsheets, this, that. We're like, we are not going to do this again. This is really
Yep.
bad and bad on us for letting it happen. But if we can and get the space and grace to be able to do this again for other customers, we will show we have improved. We have learned much, right?
Yeah.
That's how
No,
it is.
there's a real formative moments. Like I think back to my path as a human being. I think the most formative moments are the ones where you do something wrong, you step back from it, you try and figure out exactly what you could have done to address it, to avoid it, and you fix it. I think that's it's healthy.
Yes. And I also think that is part of the journey of entrepreneurship, right? That Chinese proverb, fall down 7 times, but get up 8, right? That's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Figure out why do you keep falling? Stop it. Get back up and keep going, right?
Yeah.
It's so key.
Yeah, I actually think you need to run at the things that you're least comfortable with. Like you need to run at the failures uh, as a founder. Like if you avoid the things that are causing you to have that anxiety and you push them all the way back, like you're probably leaving things too late. You really need to be like taking off those gnarly difficult, challenging things and just run at them first. And it's painful. You're going to fail a bunch of times, but you're going to learn through those failures and you're going to hopefully stand back up and come back stronger because of it.
Yes, I always think of Coach Brian Tracy. He made those famous comments and really built a business around that. Eat that frog, talking about how, especially entrepreneurs, which tend to have ADHD, right? I'm a little squirrel, and lots of people are little squirrels. And when we're little squirrels, we don't want to pay attention to the things that we really don't want to do or like to do. I'm
Mhm.
vision, I'm entrepreneurship. To hell with this minutia and administrivia. I don't feel like it today. And then, of course, it'll bite you in the backside because you've ignored it. And I always think of Coach Brian Tracy saying,
Mhm.
eat that frog. And you think of the gnarly, ugliest, slimiest toad, nasty thing going down, kicking and screaming. You're like, all right, eat the ugly frog first, right? Just
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a colleague introduced me to, I think it's the Eisenhower matrix.
yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like pick off the things that are really important and critical. And like usually those are the things that are You can feel it. When you think about tackling them, like it causes you some pain, and that's your body telling you that you're probably trying to avoid something important, and you should do that right now. And that's been really helpful for me.
Exactly. I do love the Eisenhower matrix, right? Urgent and important. And when I go through even people on my team, everything's there. No, 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 no. You can't live in that quadrant where everything is urgent and important. And
Yeah,
if it's right, if it's important, but it's not urgent, right? Schedule it. Like
yeah,
that's just it. You got to do it. And then
absolutely.
if it's right, it's still urgent, but not so important, get somebody delegate on their team because they've got to do it in time and you've got to do the other thing that is urgent and important and trying to figure all that out. And then I love the rest of it, right? If it's neither urgent nor important, dump it.
Yeah, don't
Don't
do
do
it.
it.
There's so many things through the building of this that fall into that category. It's not important. No one cares about this. No one cares about this yet. So don't do it. Just there's much more critical things that need to be addressed before you even think about doing this. So yeah, it's really important to me. Sometimes you can get kind of in love with a problem and that can be good and bad. You can definitely chase things down that don't need to be chased down. You can spend weeks on something that, you know, like you say, just could have been delegated or dumped. And way more important, tiny, less interesting things could have been taken on in the meantime.
Yep, exactly. Right. I mean, that's just it. I've learned through my journey of entrepreneurship, and like you, I've worked with a lot of different size companies from the one person, the solopreneur, to the couple people, a few more bodies, to the 100,000 people, and very actually only one company in the middle of that few
Mm.
hundred people. So really, I've been on either ends. And so that's kind of been an interesting thing. But anyway, that said, on my journey of entrepreneurship, I've learned to follow the mantra and the practice really two things. One, ruthless prioritization, and two, radical optimism. You have to. You've got to have them both or it ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's people surrounding me that would tell you that like the optimism is pervasive. Like it's not just business related. Like I feel like you have to see the shiny side of these things, even if it doesn't like go all the way to your core, like you can still feel like some things are gonna potentially go wrong, but you have to I actually believe in the process more than anything. You know, things that are hard to do always feel insurmountable when you just kind of look at them from afar. Like starting a business and being successful seems like an insurmountable thing as a first-time founder. So don't tackle all of that. Just try and bite off those smaller pieces and address those and believe that just taking one step after the next, that you'll get there, right? No one climbs Everest by like really focusing on the peak. Like you have to think about the next place that you're going to reach and just put all of your effort into getting there. So that I'm a strong believer in the process.
Yes, that is just it. Having the confidence and the optimism to do it and knowing it's going to be difficult. That's what I love in the show. I was bringing up there is no like bros in Lambos, hashtag viral, right? And then you're out there and everywhere. No, no,
Yeah.
it's not
It's
exactly how
hard.
it
It's hard.
works.
People don't care. People like in a good way. Like you have to really get yourself out there and understand what's going to resonate, what's going to work, what's going to move the needle, what people are going to pay attention to, where they're going to pay attention to it. I think that was an important lesson for us is that like we were reaching out to people through channels that, you know, that's not where our customers really were. Like our real customers are like they're on social media. They're not on LinkedIn for the most part. Like retailers, brands, and so on. They don't spend a ton of their time there. So just endlessly posting there is not going to move the needle. Like you really need to try and find these people where they're at and address them in a way that makes sense to them.
And I love that you said they're on social media, not LinkedIn. I think that's been the downfall of LinkedIn ever since they started classifying themselves as social media. And Steve, people started posting bikini pictures on the beach in the summer. Really? No, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm a
Yeah.
purist about that. No, no.
Yeah. It did seem like it kind of, it's a little bit of
Devolved.
a mess of a thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. But then again,
I
some another big behemoth took over, and maybe that's part of the reason, right? Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows where all that would.
it's a very strange place to be. I find it the most uncomfortable place, like social media platform, for me is definitely LinkedIn, which is strange because they're not always healthy places to hang out. But yeah, definitely I
Mhm.
find myself just seeing the torrent of stuff come my way, especially as a founder, just a torrent of feedback, information, and things that maybe it's well-meaning, but it's definitely people trying to push you in a particular direction or sell you a product, or like
Yeah,
it's endless.
it is all about that. By me, best-selling book, top-selling. I'm like, oh my goodness, like enough, 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 enough.
Hmm.
So you've got some interesting things coming on right now. You've got the 12 epic failures when it comes to, oh, midnight madness, bots stealing all the tickets, all that stuff. Talk to us about some of those big failures. You've already mentioned one of the biggest, right? Taylor Swift, who took it kind of personally.
Yeah, we're going through and trying to reflect over the last 12 months. What were the major winners? What brands really did well launching their products, and which brands did not? And there are a few bad ones that really stand out. I think the Switch 2 release was April and brought down most big box retailers. So Walmart fell down. Best Buy were 29 minutes late for the launch and also fell down. There were all kinds of clawbacks. People been marked as bots when they weren't. There were all kinds of issues for a highly anticipated launch. And when you get into a fail scenario like that, people just rotate through different vendors.
Right.
And, I feel like the vendor that gets this right is the one that people are just going to head to the second there is on a launch like this. So there's a strong incentive to get it right. But in these moments, everyone got it wrong. And lots of frustration, lots of painful moments. A lot of people been dragged on social media. That was one that stood out just because I remember speaking to some of these retailers ahead of time and they knew it was coming. They knew it was going to be a huge issue and still it happened. So that was kind of a sad thing for me, knowing that we could have helped with those. Maybe next year, maybe the next launch that they have, they will use us. But that was definitely a nasty one. The last year, I think Taylor Swift is a good example, but Oasis was also in
Hmm.
2025, and that caused MPs to raise questions in the House of Parliament. There were all kinds of issues with Ticketmaster that were raised as part of it. I think I'm not sure if it was Oasis or Taylor Swift, but there was a quote from the FTC chair, Lena Khan,
Hmm.
which was, "This has done more to promote anti monopolization with Gen Zers than I ever could, just because people were so frustrated with those launches." And I was actually in the UK during the
Okay.
Oasis launch, and people found themselves in a wait list even if they weren't trying to get Oasis tickets. It was just across the entire Ticketmaster site in the UK.
Wow.
So people were trying to get tickets to Legoland and they found themselves in a 4 hour wait list. So incredibly painful. Like there's been more since then. Olivia Dean, there's been all kinds of issues, and I'm sure that'll continue on into 2026, sadly. So yeah, every time these things go on sale, there's all kinds of problems. People have tried themselves as artists to try and address these concerns,
Mhm.
but Ticketmaster really needs something like a fanfare to stand up in front of them to avoid these issues in future.
Maybe they're listening. Hey, Ticketmaster.
Hey.
Hello, right? That's what we want. We want you listening. Now, you've also, we talked about New Jersey and making jokes that you are obviously not from here, but you've got some events coming up in New York City. And so just the other side of the Hudson from where we all are here in Jersey. What do you got coming up?
Yeah, we've got NRF coming up at the start of January. So January 11th to the 14th, we're going to be in the expo there. So if anyone's in the New York area and they want to come and talk with me and just experiment with the platform and see what we can do, then please head over. And we're going to be doing some interesting stuff in real life next year. Like this is the launch of a product, activations, and so on. Like I really want to be the platform that people go to when they have a large launch at a stadium or during a festival and things like that. So we're doing some interesting stuff, and if you swing by, we can show you that stuff.
Bold ambition. I love it. This is exactly what we need and we want to hear for the new year, right? It can be done. Believe it, dream it, make it happen, right? Now, where can folks find you, find more about Fanfare?
Yeah, you can head to fanfare.io. We have an ever-growing set of case studies and blog articles, including the 12 failed drops of 2025. If you want to head there, people can find me on LinkedIn. That's a good way to just grab some of my time, just schedule some of my time, and always love talking about this stuff. If you have a launch upcoming, if you're an up-and-coming brand and you're a little concerned for your launches, your first launch, please reach out.
Excellent. Now, last question. It is our signature question. Michael, if we peeked into that closet of yours, is there a pair of footwear, boots, shoes, otherwise, or clothing or accessory that just personifies who you, Michael Dodsworth, are?
Well, I'm an aspiring sneakerhead, so I have this alarmingly large wardrobe filled with shoes. It's getting an embarrassing size. I think there's a pair of shoes that they're not my favorite, but they have a lot of meaning attached to them now.
Mhm.
There's a pair of Eureka's Dunks that I got as a gift a few years ago. This is a collaboration between Eureka's and Nike. They
Mhm.
are the they're the sneakers that I wore the first time we did an in real life event at Complex Con a few years ago. And Complex Con is a place that people parade their best and most lusted after streetwear
Ah, okay.
sneakers and so on. This was my attempt, and they are incredibly uncomfortable. They're maybe a half a size too small, and I was on my feet for a good, I'm going to say 13 hours each day, and my feet have probably taken some permanent damage from these things, but they have a privileged place in my closet just because they have so much good times attached to them.
As someone who has suffered for beauty, squishing her feet into shoes really not meant to be worn and walked in, yeah,
Hmm.
I get it. I hear you.
Yeah,
So, with that, Michael Dodsworth, CEO of Fanfare.io, we wish you all the best of success in 2026. Never stop going after the big guys, right? If you see the problem, go for it, go fix it, and good luck to you.
absolutely. Thank you.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?